Alright guys, here's where we're at. We're working on this throttle body. I was having problems when I was test driving this bike that all of a sudden the throttle would go like it would shoot up to like 5 grand and then not come back down. I could blip the throttle and it would just erratically shoot up then back down. It was like all over the place, and then it would smooth out and be fine for a minute, and then I would go through a couple gears and it would do it again. And then I rode it back to the house here, stopped, and the throttle was racing like 5 grand. I could shut it off, turn the key back on, start it, and it would run perfectly fine till I got on the gas again and it'd shoot back up to 5 grand or higher, and just do all kind of crazy erratic stuff. So I did this. Alright guys, gonna take this bike for a little test ride, see how she does. Hopefully you can hear me over this exhaust. She's pretty loud. She's a loud girl. A little bit of play in the throttle cables there. Got some torque. Not even screwing the idle adjustment here, and it's not changing it, so we might have to check that out, why idling so high. Alright, let's just that's strange. Stand in there and push on the little cable mechanism, and it brought it right down, so we'll check that out. It's never a good thing when your throttle's racing. Maybe that return cable. Like I said, I get a little bit of play in the throttle cables. And I can manually push it down. This puppy's loud though. I did the self-test on it, and it came up with several codes, but one of them was 62, and that referred back to the throttle bodies. I guess there's, if I understand it correctly, there's a solenoid over here that kind of controls the upper butterflies, and I was getting a code that was bad. It wasn't getting any power to it. So I ordered another set, off eBay, so hopefully it's good. But what I did was I ohmed out the plugs and wrote down the readings of each of them. Well, when I ohmed out this plug that goes to the solenoid here on the side, on the one that's on the bike, I get nothing from any of these plugs. It's open circuit everywhere. But when I would do it on the new one, when I do the yellow and blue wires, I get 4.3. On the black and the yellow, I'd get 6.54. Black and blue together, get 4.75. But on this one, I did it and get absolutely nothing on any of this connector right here. And so I'm assuming that this is bad. And the problem with this is you can't, to replace it, you have to replace the whole throttle bodies. It's adjusted and everything at the factory, and that goes for the whole throttle bodies. So when I had ordered a couple other parts, I saw this guy had the throttle bodies in there. He said it's from a running bike with, I think it was like 6,000 miles on it. So I was like, you know, let's take a chance and do it and go ahead and get it. While he was sending all the other parts to me, I just went ahead and got everything from him, and I feel like I got a pretty good deal on it. So I'm going to take this one off, put the other one on, hook everything back up, and we'll see if that helps with the erratic throttle. So basically what I've done is just take the air box off. It's all I've done so far, and just unplugged these plugs here. I need to unplug each of the injectors, and I'm going to just put a piece of tape around one of the injectors so I know which one it is. Just I shouldn't have a problem with it because one wire is shorter than the other, but you know, just to be safe, and hook everything back up and see how it runs. Then if we can get a smooth idle out of it and a good running bike. That's what I'm doing now. So I've unhooked everything. I'm getting ready to unhook the throttle cables and the injectors, unplug the injectors, and then it should be just loosen up the two little collars here that hold the throttle bodies on, and then they should be able to wiggle right off. I'll pull the throttle cables off, and this thing should be ready to come out. Okay, I got the old throttle bodies out. I plugged the holes with some paper towels just to make sure nothing fell in it while I took off the last few little connectors. So now I'm going to put the throttle bodies back in. So not that hard to do, just takes a few minutes to pull all the cables off. I had this left side fuel injector line did not want to disconnect, and the fuel line was kind of a pain to get out, but got that out and switched over to the new one. So now we're going to pop it back down in here. Alright, got the throttle bodies back in. I tightened the two 5mm bolts down here that hold the throttle bodies to the top of the intake and everything. I put rubbing alcohol around those rubber pieces and it slid right in. Rubbing alcohol acts as a lubricant, really helps you get those in a lot easier. So now the only thing left I have to do is put the air box on and then the tank. Connected up all the cables, all the wires down here that were disconnected, and except for that one. Where does that one go? Gotta find that one. I don't know where that goes. I don't remember disconnecting that one. Oh, I know where it goes. It goes around here to the side of the servo. I almost forgot that one. Glad I saw it hanging down there. So we'll put that through, walk around over here, and it plugs in right here to the servo. Alright, so now I've got everything hooked up. This goes to the fuel pump, fuel tank, airbox, ready to put the airbox in.